It's Swarkestone, and it's green fingertips again with this man, Mark Smith. Mark's knowledge of plants is absolutely second to none, and now he's going to tell us his extensive range of winter flowers and colour in the garden. Mark.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that there's absolutely no colour in November at all, and you can't do gardening in November. There's lots of greys, lots of greens, lots of browns at this time of year. But I've put a little display together just to show you exactly how much colour there is available this time of year. Straight away, the first plant that we've got is sedum. This is autumn joy. Beautiful, beautiful flowers. This is actually great for bees and butterflies. So as it's quite warm today, there'll be a few bees around. They'll take food and off the sedum, and it's a good idea to have these flowering plants that will attract bees. You know, because while it warms up, there will be some available. That's evergreen. It flowers from about the beginning of September right to the end of December, so a long flowering period, and like I say, it's evergreen as well. And if you feel the leaves, they're quite rubbery feel, so it's great for a sensory garden. Just an unusual plant. Great plant.
And of course we covered bee friendly plants last month, didn't we?
Yeah, and it just carries on, and people should be planting more plants that attract bees and butterflies. I do feel that it's really important, and this is good proof that you can actually extend the season right up to the beginning of Christmas, really. With lots of flowers out at the moment. Another one, this is a favourite of mine. Now the reason why I included this was actually a plant of the month in a previous show. This is a Belia kaleidoscope. Normally it's a bright lemony yellow colour, but just as it's starting to go colder, apart from today, the foliage starts to go a really vivid orangey bright red, so almost like an autumn leaf colour. But this is evergreen, so it'll keep this leaf all the way through the winter. Great for containers. You do have these white trumpet-like flowers on there as well, and which flowers on and off right the way through the year. Right, such a good plant for a container.
Okay.
Especially for Burton TV news, we like exclusives, but this one is extremely new. This is skimmerskinnier Paliba. The unique thing about this skimmer, it has these masses and masses of bright orangey red berries. Most other berrying skimmers, what they tend to do is they'll berry and they'll have a set of foliage above the berry, so it kind of hides the berry a little bit. But this one's been bred as a compact growing evergreen skimmer with these masses of berry. There's no other skimmy that berries as heavy as this, and these berries will stay on right the way through. I mean, it starts from the beginning of October right the way through to the end of December normally, and just looks fantastic all the way through. Like I say, there's no maintenance involved. It stays nice and compact. Beautiful variety. Another favourite of mine are these. Now, to the untrained eye, these are in flower.
Really?
These are not actually in flower. These are actually in flower bud, hence the name. These are budburst heathers. Now the great thing about budburst heathers, you can plant those in your garden, you've got colour there straight away.
Wow.
These actually don't come in flower until the middle to end of February next year, and then they come out into a big double flower. So you think, wow, I mean, you can use these in containers, you can use these as standalone plants, very easy to look after. They stay nice and compact. You see they're very dense, and you don't really have to prune them at all, just a little bit of a neaten up after the flower. Wonderful plant. I mean, if you very cheap as well. If you want to encourage colour, I mean, these come in a wide range of colours. There's reds, purples, whites, pinks. just a glorious plant, and just such an easy one to look after as well.
Looks like a bit of an optical illusion, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's you see the lower colours are quite light, and then it deepens as it gets to the top. I just absolutely love this. It just gives you bags and bags of colour, and again starts looking this good from the beginning of September. So if you think about how many months, that looks good. Well worth getting in your garden. Great for winter containers, great for winter baskets, and easy to look after. Now this is unusual. We had a relative of this in one of the early shows earlier on in the year. This is agapanthus. Agapanthus are normally known for green-leafed, blue flowers. This one just makes a nice, neat dome, almost like a spider plant you would have as a house plant. This makes a great container plant. It's not evergreen, it will die off, but it keeps its leaf right up to the first frost. So this will look fantastic right the way through the year up until the first frost, sort of December onwards. But it's very neat, no pruning. You have it like that, and then it dies back down to nothing, and then of course in the midsummer it will have this light blue flower, but I love it for its foliage. It's really striking foliage, and it's a nice tactile plant. You can't help but go past it and give it a bit of a brush with your hand, and a bit of a cuddle.
It's nice and smooth touch.
Yeah, that's right. A little bit taller plant, an unusual plant is this. This is Carper profusion. Now, it's not suitable for everybody's garden because it is quite a tall growing plant. It tends to go straight up, doesn't really go broad, but it will get to sort of 10-12 foot eventually, and about sort of 8 foot spread. So you couldn't have it in everybody's garden, but it's so unusual because of the purple berries, and it almost looks like they've been stuck on there as a bit of a floral display. But no, it berries like that happily every year. Once the flowers are finished, the berries start to come on. These last when they actually like a drier autumn and winter. So if you have a lot of rain, it tends to rot the berries, but if it stays dry, these will stay on till the end of December. But it's just such a good striking plant. It's one of those plants that you have in your garden and people say, wow, what's that? It does definitely have the wow factor.
Looks amazing, doesn't it, Mark?
Yeah.
The way you've put all this together, it's like a collage of colour.
Yeah, you could plant that up happily in your own garden, and that would give you a fantastic colour right from the beginning of September right to almost the bedding or summer bedding of next year. Very straightforward to do. Plant it up as it is, and like I say, you've got interest there right the way through the winter. And it's just to highlight exactly how much colour you can have at this time of year. The next plant, another favourite of mine, is this is Leucotho. Leucotho is almost a very well-behaved plant.
Yeah,
well-behaved. You don't need to prune it. It looks after itself. Always looks healthy. Always looks glossy. This really deep reddy colour comes from when it goes very, very cold, but it stays nice and compact. It's not something that you have to get the hedge trimmers out and shape. It does that naturally. Again, great for a container. You just plant that in a container, and again, it gives you that wow factor because the colours are absolutely fantastic.
Right, you say the shine on it as well, right? Keeping glossy. It's great.
Yeah, it always looks
nice.
healthy,
Yeah.
and the glossiness is a real attractive feature about it. A lot of leaf, if you have a look, is quite a matte green, but this is a glossy green, almost as though you've polished it. That's just a few of the plants that is available at this time of year for winter colour. Yeah. We've got a container here, and what I've done here is try to give a sort of all winter colour. I've got the Griselinea here as your tall centrepiece, a little bit like the winter tubs that we did last month. This is a much bigger tub, needs more substantial plants, and the Griselinea gives you height and a nice lemony green colour that's also evergreen, and it sets off well against this Skimmia rubella, a little bit like the berrying Skimmia, but this is a male Skimmia, skimmia, which just has the flowers. And again, this is flower bud, and it doesn't actually open flower until around about February time next year. So again, looks this nice, ready, almost Christmassy effect and on an evergreen plant. And then, as we've looked earlier on, we've got this budburst heathers, which are in bud now, which will open up to full flower roughly the same sort of time as the skimmia rubella. So you get a really good container. A lot of the new shrubs that you can get these days are compact growing, so they're ideal for containers. There's not many that are really very tall growing, and then sort of set off around the base of the container you can put things like, which I have the Abelia kaleidoscope here, which gives you an idea of the colour that it's going to go. It's going to go a rich red, which again matches up with the skimmia rubella, and it shows you it still has flowers on even at this time of year. Just a beautiful display, and will give you display right the way through to early part of spring of next year.
I think you've done well there, Mark.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Normally at this stage in the programme we have plant of the month, but as you can see, this is quite a big, this is not a plant.
No.
What is it, Mark?
This is a tree,
right,
and this is tree of the month, which is sorbus. Well, this variety is called shearwater seedling, which is a nice, sturdy, strong growing variety. And the reason I've picked this is it's a great tree for a small garden. A lot of the plants of the month, they're great for containers, and they're a great do-all for everything. This is fantastic. It's one of my favourite trees, and the real bonus about this tree, as you can see, in its green leaf form, because both of the trees together here are exactly the same variety. In its green leaf form, it's got a nice pinnate green leaf, slight cut leaf to it, and then as the season progresses, it has the orangey red berries, which are quite large orangey red berries, and then followed a little bit later on by the fiery orangey red autumn leaf colour. Just a glorious variety. Now, sorbus are great for small gardens because the actual spread on the tree makes like a wine glass shape. Yeah, so very neat, very compact. It's not something where you'd have to get the tree surgeons in to keep pruning back. Looks after itself. You have the flowers in the spring, you have the foliage, you have the berries, and then you have the autumn leaf colour as well. Great colour, attractive tree, because if you're going to have a tree, you might as well have something that's going to give you lots of different things. You've not got like just flowers and leaf with a ornamental cherry. You've got the added bonus of flowers, berries, and autumn leaf colour, which is one of the few trees that does actually do that. With sorbus as well, like I say, this is shearwater seedling, which is the orangey red berries. There are other varieties where you can have yellow berries, pink berries, white berries, yellow berries, red. So really, with the choice of sorbus, it's the colour of berry rather than anything else. They all have this flowers, berries, autumn leaf colour, so it's really whatever berries you like the look of and the colour of. And this time of year it's great because you can actually see the colour of the berries in person rather than having a look on a colour picture and seeing the colours of berries. So it's just fantastic seeing it at this time of year in full berry, and it gives you an idea of what it's going to look like in your garden. Just a glorious tree, which like I say is ideal for a small to medium-sized garden.
So well behaved, easy to manage.
Easy to manage, nothing special, go in any kind of soil whatsoever. You don't need to give it any fertilisers. The only thing I will say with any trees, whether it's sorbus or anything else, is if you're going to plant it in a lawn, make sure that you don't let the grass grow up to the trunk. Keep a circle, ideally about 2 foot away from the trunk. This helps the tree, it helps it mature, and the grass doesn't take up the moisture and the nutrients, so it does very well if you keep a ring of soil around it. You couldn't really put it in a container, but certainly in a mixed border or in a lawn would be absolutely fantastic.
So there you go, not plant of the month, but tree of the month. Well, Matt, we've had a very informative chat today.
Yeah.
That tree of the month rather than plant of the month. So talking about plant and job trees of the month. What we got? Jobs of the month?
Jobs of the month, yeah. I mean, the straightforward thing is making sure that you've done all your pruning that you need to do, cut back roses, cut back flowering shrubs if they're finished, and cut back herbaceous, summer flower and herbaceous perennials.
Right.
Just neaten them up, tidy them up. Again, with tidying up, rake up any leaves that are on the lawn or clear them out of the gutters and things like that. If you are taking any leaves up off the lawn, make sure you compost and make a great compost, you know, if you've got a compost bin. But one of the most important things, because we're in November at the moment, is if the weather does start to turn and starts to get very, very cold, you need to be bringing in your tender plants into greenhouses or in the house. Insulate the greenhouse with bubble wrap, right, which is a good insulator, almost gives it like double glazing. And another thing which I've done myself in the past is not insulate my outside tap. Make sure you insulate the outside tap with bubble wrap, or you can get these special covers now that can go on the tap to protect it from the frost. And from personal experience, I definitely do that.
Okay. And when is the last cutting of the lawn can be done? When is the sort of...
Well, really, as it's nice and warm now, and as the season progresses, if it stays really warm, the grass will still grow. So it's just really when if it's a nice sunny day today and you feel the need to cut your lawn, cut it now. As long as it's not too wet, and because it will still keep growing, and it will keep growing while the weather's good. There's not really a time you shouldn't cut, apart from when it's overly wet. Even on a frosty morning, the afternoon's weather is very, very sunny normally and dry, so you can actually cut it then, strangely enough. So just when the weather starts to turn a little bit, make sure you get that last cut in.
Right, and if people would like to get in touch with you in the future, how do they go about it?
Well, the simplest way is by telephone, which is Derby 01332 700 800, or we've got our website, which is www.swarkestonenursery.co.uk, remembering the E in Swarkestone. And also they can get us on the Facebook page, which we put updates on a very, very regular basis, new offers and Christmas castle and all sorts of things that's happening at Swarkestone Nursery, which is if you simply put in the search bar in Facebook, Swarkestone Nursery, remember in the E in Swarkestone Nursery, and you'll find us that way. And it's or you could email us if you've got any problems, any questions, any problems with plants at home. If you want to contact us at info@swarkestonenursery.co.uk, remembering obviously the E in Swarkestone. You can email me any gardening problems, and I'll reply to you straight away.
Thank you very much, Mark.